How do True Buckaroos? Just a quick note up front. Apologies about production quality in this week's book club. Unfortunately, my jank set of Razer headphones were on their last legs. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, they're held together with a fucking bulldog clip and a bit of super glue. It did not last. They've done me well, but they are a piece of crap plastic bollocks. So apologies about that. They cut out the recording every now and again, so it gets a bit choppy. There's also some echo cancellation issues later on that garble Taz a tad, which I fixed during recording, but it was a bit late to save it. So apologies. It'll be better next time. Now on with the show. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle.
Hello, I'm Fiona Bruce and welcome to
the Chuck Tingle Book Club.
Oh, yeah. Hello and how do, true buckaroos, and welcome back to another Chuck Tingle Book Club, brought to you by the fine Reprobates at Pot Topic podcast. As ever, I am your resident Chuckademic Taz, and later on, I will be doing a little analysis of what we're reading today. And to tell us all about it, Tom.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to point and get the wrong direction again. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Tom. So yes, I provide a quick little synopsis, Tomnopsis, if you will. This week we are doing Turned Gay by the Living Alpha Diner, which is why I've got my man, Guy Fieri, who I love, by the way, hence why I've dressed up in like a fire scallop beanie, which is way too tight.
He's a secret beautiful man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's lovely. Like, he bought a vineyard, and instead of naming it after himself, he named it after his two kids that he loved. On the day that gay marriage was legalized in Florida, he officiated 101 gay marriages.
Hell yes.
And catered for them with his celebrity chef friends in honor of his late sister who was a lesbian. Like, he's fucking lovely, man. But anyway,
he is.
Let's get
He's just flamboyant and likes trash food.
And now I'm here sweating, wearing a beanie indoors, which is really, really tight. I haven't worn this thing in like 10 years. Anyway, so yeah, Turned Gay by the Living Alpha Diner. Lars is a lonely, fit 20-year-old trucker who takes pride in his appearance, who's on the verge of breaking up with his girlfriend. Then nothing wrong with her, she's a lovely girl, but they're not very happy together. Suddenly, hunger gets the best of him, so he pulls off the highway into a parking lot of a 24-hour diner called Butt House. I'd like to take a bite of them buns. This diner just happens to be sentient, of course, and Lars hops out of the cab, and the two lock eyes. Now, Lars is as straight as they come, theme, but what can I say? Straighter they are, the harder they fall to their knees. Am I right, gents? Hey. So when he reaches the double door and finds himself mysteriously attracted to the building's sexy abs, he's quite taken aback. In fact, it reminds him of how he felt when he met his girlfriend, who
Carly.
He soon forgets about soon.
Turns out this diner is mouth-watering in more than one way.
Oh, mummy. Right. Anywho, Lars is greeted by a waitress and taken to a table. The place is packed despite its very remote location. It's a proper retro diner with a modern flair. The place is gorgeous, smells amazing, and is very arousing. Lars gets hard. Lars is literally getting hard whilst looking at the well-crafted burgers and fries on the menu. Are you all right, bruv?
Dude's hungry. What can he say, man? Dude's just hungry.
Thirsty too, let me tell you. Right. Anyway, this is a nice place you got here, Lars says to the diner. Pretty much exactly like that. The building thanks him in a deep, smooth voice. Lars, has a little hetero, good old red-blooded American freak out, but he can't leave. He just can't do it.
Can't bring himself to do it. No. There's something is keeping him here.
Yeah, this gets really weird, guys. They share an introduction, and the diner introduces himself as Turk Dorby. Dorby. Yeah, that's Dorby.
Yeah.
Lars is awkward as fuck, and during some small talk, the waitress comes over and takes the order. As if cued by Lars's inability to make conversation, Turk breaks the silence, asking about his truck, his route, and flirts with him a little bit. Lars, being the good old red-blooded American again, has a good old red-blooded cock-throbbage. Turk asks him if he's single, and Lars answers, "What cunt? Tonight I am." And when he's asked if he's gay, Lars answers, "Tonight I am." Good old red-blooded America, hey?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. We'll talk about where I think your analysis is going, but it may relate to that. So now the bench starts groping Lars's arse. A weird thing to visualize. And Lars starts to reach for his meat to beat it, when the waitress interrupts with some other meat, his burger. When she leaves, Turk tells Lars to finish his food, go up to the roof, so as Turk can't really get away. After all, he's a 24-hour diner.
Do you think that waitress is used to this shit? Do you think she like serves a lot of burgers?
No, I don't. I'm not about to slut shame a diner. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm okay. So I'm not asking you to slut shame anyone. I'm just wondering. I'm just trying to sort of empathize with the waitress. Like, do you think she has to deal with like a lot of horny truckers on the verge of
or
on the verge
the
of
building's at it again?
Oh, Turk! I'm trying to work here.
She's the poor girl who has to mop it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh God, like, does she have to wipe Turk's ass? It does. Like, we never hear anything about Turk having a
Doesn't appear to have arms, but maybe he does.
Arms.
Maybe he lost them in the war. I don't know.
Questions.
Too many questions, not enough answers. So yeah, Lars only makes it halfway through his meal. Can't wait any longer. Chucks down more than enough money to cover the burger and heads to the stairway to the roof. So at this point, Lars finally admits to Turk that he's straight and has a girlfriend and has a bit of a crisis of conscience, as well he should. But what if, deep down, this is the real him? The real him is a hardcore, gay, diner fucker. That's a quote.
Man, it happens. Sometimes you just are. You just are the thing you didn't know you are.
Yep.
What I love is that Turk gives Lars the opportunity to like back out, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't know if I should do this." And like Turk's just like, "So don't."
And do you know how he has this massive crisis of conscience for literally 0.3 seconds, and he goes, "Never mind, I'm coming up." Fuck's sake, dude. So yeah, Lars heads up to the roof. It's a beautiful starry night in the desert. Lars is called over to Turk's face, giant face, I may add, on the front of a building. Take out that cock of yours and let me suck you off, Turk demands. I don't know why I have to do it like Alan Partridge, but it's very comedic, this book. Lars is frightened of being seen, so Turk dims his exterior lights. Now take out that fat... Sorry. Now take out that fat, juicy cock of yours, repeats Turk, and shove it down my throat. Well, if that ain't an obvious sign where we're heading, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. That's right, baby. We are entering the pleasure zone.
Take you to the pleasure zone.
The pleasure zone, baby.
The diner gives a winking blowjob, speeds up, slows down, deep throat, into his giant fucking throat. I need you to fuck me right now. Go down to the basement, and this is where I cut this music and put on more fitting music.
Huh?
Runs downstairs. I don't see it. It's never something you want to hear from a bloke about to fuck you. He moves some boxes and finds a huge cock with giant balls. The building gets to... So I'm going to turn this up just a tad. Nah, fuck it. Building gets a ball cradling hand job, then a blowy anal cat and mouse play, and then straight up good old red-blooded American butt fucking. Pain gives way to pleasure. Theme. Fuck me harder. Fuck me like the gay little twink that I am deep down inside. I thought you had a girlfriend. I'm gay now. You turned me gay and I love it. The power of homosexual love is too strong to be contained. I love you. I love you too. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna come. The trucker drops to his knees and takes a load in his face, ear to ear. Your turn. Go upstairs. At the back. Go upstairs and then out the back. This is all I'm seeing that entire time. It's just yakety sax. But I'm reading this. Towels off the cum, wraps the towel around his waist, boom, runs straight into the main restaurant, load of confused people, out the front door, round the back where he finds a beautiful muscular arse protruding from the brick. Fuck, 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 fuck. Do it, blast that cum in my hot gay restaurant arse, blap, 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 blap. Right.
Do you know what? I reckon pretty much everyone other than the waitress was confused at that point. I think she probably just saw it and just rolled her eyes.
And she's going, oh, at least he's going to come in the back alley rather than, metaphorically as well, the back alley rather than anywhere that I've got to clean up. Anyway, Lars confesses his love. I didn't even think about the poor waitress. Lars confesses his love for the big gay diner, but he's scared. He can't go back to his old life now. He has to be with the restaurant. So Turk just offers him a job as a server. Problem solved, the end.
Cool. Sweet. So would you care to hazard a guess as to where we're going with this?
Self-discovery, I'm going to guess. I also thought perhaps the innate homophobia in porn to do with straight guys not knowing they're gay, or not accepting they're gay.
Oh, you hit upon 2 points. You've hit upon 2 points that I have a look at.
Maybe a bit of infidelity somewhere in there. Maybe who knows how to make a good burger. Make a burger as good as you can get hard. You don't like burgers. I know you don't.
No, I don't. They're junk. Give me a hot dog any day.
It's basically just
a nice big juicy hot dog, which is beautiful.
Bet the waitress seen that a few times.
Cool. So, turned gay by the Living Alpha Diner. An anal assist. Now, hold up just a second. Thank you, as ever, Tom, for that wonderful Tom Notsis. But I'm going to have to take another run at it, because the story you just described, well, is it just me, or is it maybe a scooch problematic? Because it sounds to me like our Chucktagonist Lars stumbled across some sort of compound miles away from civilization, met with a very charismatic leader, became something he wasn't previously, and then agreed to stay and work on the compound and love the leader forever without an iota of regard for anything in his life before that point.
You've been listening to too much Robert Evans, dude. Come on.
Yo, is Living Diner Turk Dorby straight running a sex cult? Well, not straight running, obviously, but still, it sounds a bit sex culty, doesn't it? I mean, you can understand how friends and family might take that view, right? Chaboy Lars has a long-term girlfriend and a spell at college waiting for him back home. Now he's all gay loved up with a roadside diner in the deserts, for and in whom he also works. I know I would have, at the very least, some questions for Lars. So, is the good doctor Tingle cults? I guess it wouldn't be outside his remit so long as such a cult uplifted the followers and didn't break up families and the like. Or perhaps this is something else, and some surprisingly dense but subtle symbolism points to another story entirely. Well, if we want to figure that out, we are just going to have to do the science. Yeah, I bet you didn't see that as an intro coming.
I was just about to go Yakety sax again.
Cool. Do you know what? Let's just crack right into it. So, part 1, freedom, opportunity, and escape. Let's get into some of this symbolism then, shall we? Because there are some doozies in here. Primary amongst them are two things that hold a special and unwavering place in the American social psyche. Did you spot them? The first is the road. As a truck driver, our trucktagonist, Lars, is intimately linked to the roads. But what does that even mean? Surely a road is just a road, right? Well, sure. Until you look at its place in American literature and film. You got Jack Kerouac's On the Road. You've got Easy Rider, Thelma and Louise. Hell, you've even got Team Sex and Drugs Road Trip. And those are just the ones I pulled out of the air as I was writing this. If I wasn't such a base and loathsome charlatan, I might have actually done some proper research. But fortunately for me, it doesn't take many examples to make the point that the roads in American literature and entertainment represents freedom. Whether that's freedom from social norms and expectations, or an overbearing husband, or the pressures of college, that very much changes from story to story. But the allure of some nebulous or specific freedom almost always features in the great American road stories. So, what's Lars' time on the road keeping him free from? We've been fighting a lot lately, and to be honest, the recent radio silence had been a welcome relief from her constant nagging. That's right, Lars is in an unhappy relationship with his girlfriend, Carly. Breaking up with her would be too messy at this point. She's a sweet girl, but we're just not meant to be together. So, Lars' time on the road is keeping him free from the pressures of a failing relationship. That pressure could be a sense of duty he might feel to try and make it work, or it could be the crushing responsibility of having to break it off. Either way, it's something he's free from. But let's take note of that free from term that I'm using there. Freedom from something is only part of the story of freedom. For the sake of completeness, you've also got to include the idea of freedom to, as in, I have the freedom to clap cheeks with this spunksome diner. Which brings us to another part of the symbolism of the road. Because in order to have the freedom to do something, you must first have the opportunity. Opportunity and pan-American travel is something so fundamental to the American spirit that it predates the very roads themselves. What started with, well, Plymouth Rock, really, but what started with Lewis and Clark seeking new trapping routes, went on to the pioneers traversing the Oregon Trail in search of land and a place to call home, and then to the Great California Gold Rush. Later, you had the migrant workers of the Great Depression seeking work and independence. Later still, there was Kerouac's own Beat Generation. When we see this play out in entertainment, this is often boiled down to the opportunity to do drugs and have sex, such as we see in both On the Road and the movie Road Trip. But these are only diversions along the way to something else. But before we get into that, what about Turned Gay by the Living Alpha Diner? What opportunities are being sought and what opportunities arise? Well, in Lars' own words, he's 20 years old and determined to see a bit of the country before heading off to college. Before heading off to college, where I'll be locked down for years under the weight of textbooks and tests. Lars just wants to see a bit of the world before he's no longer free to do so. That's the opportunity he seeks. But the opportunity that arises is something quite different, and that comes in the shape of Turk Dory. Which brings us to our second symbol of America, the diner. There's an interesting BBC article on the topic called Why the Diner is the Ultimate Symbol of America, and it's got a couple of things to say on the matter. Firstly, the article suggests that diners possess a certain neutrality, that it's a place for all people, regardless of history or inclination. Quoting from the article, the thing about this democratic counter is that anyone can go in and sit down. It could be a professor or it could be a worker, says Richard Goodman, author of American Diner Then and Now. A friend of mine in Pennsylvania ate at a diner and he's in the middle of two guys. One is the chief of police and the other is just some character. The policeman looks over and says, "Didn't I arrest you last year?" And the guy says, "Yes, you did. Pass the ketchup." And we certainly see some of this melting pot and leveling effect in this Tinker. The way Lars tells us that something about this diner. The way that Lars tells us that something about this diner has a hold on me, and describes his supreme awkwardness when simply trying to have a conversation with Turk, in turn tells us how unfamiliar he is with both people like Turk and the situation caused by his developing attraction. This is in itself an opportunity being fulfilled. Lars is discovering new people and a new side of himself in relation to them. But the most interesting point the BBC article posits is this. In the movies, the diner is a special kind of space, a mythic place, a zone of escape, says film critic John Patterson. And that's the real opportunity before Lars. It's one thing to be temporarily free from the pressures of your life while on the road. It's another thing to escape them altogether. Of course, John Patterson, of the quote, is probably referring to escape in the short term. He's no doubt thinking about characters stopping off at a diner to lie low, regroup, and discuss events. And then they go, because that's what you do at diners. Eventually, after the food is done, the shit is shot, and the Joe is drained, the characters leave. They're on to the next part of their adventure. But Lars doesn't leave. Lars' escape is a bit more permanent than that. Cool.
Okay.
So, any thoughts so far?
No, I'm really interested to see where the third track takes us. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. I shall crack on. Actually, we'll be starting off with something that you did, in fact, mention. So here we go. Part 2.
Okay.
Revelation and direction. Oh, I'm not doing the classy thing anymore. Revelation and direction. Before we go on, I feel it's only appropriate to do a bit of housekeeping first and address the whole turned gay issue. Now, it should go without saying that people being turned gay isn't a thing. If anything, the notion of homosexuality as a lifestyle choice, the notion that homosexuality is a lifestyle choice that people can be indoctrinated into is a thoroughly damaging idea. It's one favoured by the sort of religious and political forces that seek to control their members, either through open discrimination and disenfranchisement, or through the fractionally more subtle means of gay conversion therapies and the like. Either way, people are being brutalised, tortured, and even killed because homosexuality is seen as not just a choice, but the wrong choice. So, what gives, Chuck? Well, I was unable to find any words from the man himself, so all I can offer are my own thoughts. Firstly, the turned gay idea isn't something that turns up in the titles of Chuck's work these days. The latest example I could find was from July 2016, and one of my favourites. Slammed by the substantial amount of press generated by my book, pounded by the pound, turned gay by the socio-economic implications of Britain leaving the European Union. After this, the concept seems to disappear from the bibliography. But why was it there in the first place? So there's an analogous phrase in gay erotica, straight to gay. These stories are pretty much as you would expect. A straight living character gets their gay on once presented with the right person or situation. And boy, is this a popular subset of the genre. If you enter straight to gay as a search term into the Kindle bookstore, it returns a staggering number of results. Even if you whittle it down to titles released in the past 30 days, the search at the time of writing still returned some 111 results in the past month. So
how many on Pornhub, by the way?
I did. Do you know what? I didn't have a look. I imagine it would be off the scale. So it kind of makes sense for Chuck to dig into this a little bit, both as something to send up about the genre and as something a new author might use to attract the attention of those into that subgenre and build their reader base. That said, for a man all about proving love is real, it makes sense that Chuck eventually abandoned the turned gay shtick. It can take a while for a writer to find their feet and crystallize their views, their goals, and their approaches to them. Given how much Chuck relies on his audience to inform his works in fields outside his experience, such as his not pounded, trans, and ladybug tinglers, for instance, it wouldn't surprise me if around mid-2016, a fan flagged the turned gay issue, and that was all it took for Tingle to leave the term behind. But in the fiction itself, we can see that Lars wasn't turned gay. When our Chucktangonist introduces himself to the reader, he says, "Unlike many of my peers, I care about how I look during these long hours on the road, clean-shaven and lean from my push-ups during pit stops." Of course, this doesn't really say much. This could just as easily describe a straight dude. The term metrosexual comes to mind, for one. But it does the work to set Lars apart from the usual burly hetero messes that make up the trucker stereotype, while arguably making a suggestive nod to the stereotype of the well-groomed gay. But the real proof of Lars' sexuality comes simply from the fact that he fancies Turk, more or less, from first sight. "My heart skips a beat and I'm not exactly sure why." Or, "Something about this diner has a hold on me." Or again, "Yet, despite my best efforts, I can't will myself into leaving the warm, intoxicating presence of this handsome diner." Oh, bless my heart. The boy's a beautiful, bouncing baby gay. So, why has he been straight living up until now? Well, homosexuality, queerness, and the closet is a whole thing, darling. Of course it is. The closet's where the best clothes are kept. But we'll see a little snatch of this straight life reasoning later on during one of the Tingler's resounding moments. But until then, let's focus on what it takes for Lars to have this revelation. Now, I can't say for sure that the location of the diner was intended to play an important role in the story, but I will say that it's interesting, nevertheless. Lars's usual route is pretty far north from here being the desert of Arizona. And he's not just in a literal desert either. Chuck takes the time to point out the metaphorical desert Lars is lost in. The lack of connection between other human beings makes you disoriented and strange, and eventually you find yourself craving conversation like you would food or water. So, revelations and the desert, eh? Aren't they just a thing? Moses of the Bible, maybe you heard of it, had a couple of revelations in the desert, one telling him to set his people free, and then another to provide the 10 Commandments with which to rebind them. Then there was Christianity's own Keanu Reeves, name of Jesus Christ, who wandered the desert for 40 years before beginning his ministry. And then, to this very day, you've got people undertaking vision quests in the desert and coming back changed from the experience. But the thing I always think about when I think about deserts and revelations is this quote from Terry Pratchett's Jingo. "In the clear air, the stars drilled down out of the sky, reminding any thoughtful watcher that it is in the deserts and high places that religions are generated." Compared to this extract from today's Tingler, "Out here in the desert, the stars are more brilliant than I've ever seen." So, Lars is all set up for revelation. He's lost and disoriented in a literal and metaphorical desert. He's currently unencumbered by the responsibilities of home and receptive to seeing more of the world. But is that enough? It's all very well having a route to revelation and means of escape appearing in the deserts, suddenly as if manifested by some divine power. But it's another thing entirely to take a leap of faith and embrace such opportunities as they present themselves. Not everyone's aware enough to recognize such chances for what they are, and those who are, not all of them are going to be brave enough to jump. Some of them just need a push. So, I suppose that means we got to talk about the alpha part of Turned Gay by the Living Alpha Diner now. When we talk about alpha males, we are, in short, and in no uncertain terms, unmistakably and indisputably talking utter lamb shit. Even David Mech, the scientist who wrote the book on alpha males as they relate to wolves in captivity, points out that one of the outdated pieces of information in the wolf ecology and behavior of an endangered species is the concept of the alpha wolf. Of course, the concept of alpha males and beta males has been co-opted and developed by men's rights activists and the manosphere in general. Has been done so as a means to justify all manner of toxic and insufferable social behaviors, especially as they pertain to women. Because why admit you're in the wrong? Work on your issues and use that as a source of growth when you could just blame all your problems on the people calling you out on your shitty behavior and have done with it, right? Well, I wondered if Chuck's inclusion of the alpha concept was another way to bring in readers who are interested in sub-dom sexual power dynamics. And sure enough, throwing the term into a Kindle search provides tons of search results. But this is the only time alpha seems to appear in the Tingle canon, which suggests to me that it's been included for a very specific reason. Turk is dominant in nature, but he is not at all domineering. Far from it, in fact. Turk is caring and attentive to Lars's needs. When Lars expresses concern that their erotic activities on the roof might be seen by other people, Turk attends to the issue, and seconds later, the outer building lights begin to lower until they are completely off. Furthermore, in a rarity for Tinglers, at least the ones we've read so far, both Lars and Turk give and receive head, give and receive anal, give and receive love. It seems that alpha here is being used as a shorthand, not for dominance so much, but for the role of a leader, for someone who is prepared to offer gentle but confident direction to someone just when they need it most. Oh, what's that face, Tom?
It was a bit of a walk, but no, you're quite right. What else could alpha mean in that sense? Because they're both clearly switches. So
yeah, absolutely.
You're right. It's a bullshit stereotype anyway, based on wolves in captivity. Again, I'm just reiterating, wolves in captivity. That the writer of which paper disclaimed later that it's completely incorrect and he was wrong.
Yes, yeah. In fact, wolves in the wild are family units.
Yeah.
So the lead breeders are mummy and daddy. So there's no power play or dominant stuff going on whatsoever. But it's useful to scared, lonely men.
Yeah.
Bless them. Man, the crisis of manhood at the moment. Anyway, that's another thing. Let's get on with the conclusion, shall we? So,
spoken like a true man. Let's just finish up, love.
Okay, so Tom, here you are. You were spot on.
Okay.
Conclusion. At its heart, Turned Gay by the Living Alpha Diner is a story about becoming. It uses metaphors for freedom and opportunity to show that our protagonist both needs and is ready for a change. In the Living Diner Turk, Lars is provided with a chance to escape his current life and someone to direct him along that path. When Lars is asked if he's gay and single, he has the safety and confidence, freedom and opportunity to answer, "Tonight I am." Lars is directed through what it means to give and receive love as a gay man, allowing him to arrive at a revelation on his own terms. Maybe that life back home was just a facade, a version of the truth that society demands of me instead of the truth that I want for myself. I can't help but find the thought of this secret underworld incredibly arousing. The home that I've long been searching for. But as with all revelations, this fundamentally changes the person who experiences them. That was a shit sentence. Sorry about that. Like I said, base and despicable charlatan. Anyway, now knowing what he knows about himself, Lars realizes, I can't just go back to my normal life now. Wherein Turk steps up to the plate once again, not just as a hand to help direct Lars into his new life, but as the ultimate means to escape the old one. Turk finally says, "You could stay here and work inside me during the day, then go out with me at night." I can't help but smile. I can't help but smile. I'd love to stay here and work inside you forever. So yeah, Turned Gay by the Living Alpha Diner is a story of becoming. But it's also a story of two sides. It's the story of someone finally becoming who they are and were always meant to be. And it's the story of the attentive and loving diner that helped get him there. I can think of no greater, more fundamental ways of proving love than by being your authentic self or by being supportive of those yet to get there. So thanks, Chuck. Yeah, beauty. Yeah. So I just want to. I didn't include the whole thing in it because it kind of diluted the point I was making. But I just have to go back and do the entire Terry Pratchett quote because
Go for it.
fuck it, I'm very very ready to get to quote Terry Pratchett. Night poured over the desert. It came suddenly, in purple. In the clear air, the stars drilled down out of the sky, reminding any thoughtful watcher that it is in the deserts and high places that religions are generated. When men see nothing but bottomless infinity over their heads, they have always had a driving and desperate urge to find someone to put in the way. Oh, what a damn.
And good use of that quote to show the readiness for revelation that Lars feels.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a weird one. When I started writing this, I was just like, well, it's about dudes realizing he's gay, innit? So I guess we just go through that. And then as I just kind of started looking at different bits, it sort of just wrote itself after a while. It's like, well, we got the road. Oh, I suppose we got the road. The Americans have a big thing about the road, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to take it. Well done. Also, kind of like the fact that you pointed out that back in pre-2016 or whatever, that it was a very common theme in porn and all literature to be turned gay by something. And yeah, it almost has a clickbait. Obviously, Chuck Tingle, I'm not blind enough to think that Chuck Tingle doesn't name his books to be clickbaity, but it is a very, very clickbaity term.
So here's the thing, like if you enter Turned Gay into Kindle, that actually doesn't throw up many results. The phrase isn't used particularly often. You're more likely to find forced gay or straight to male. Forced gay,
Jeez.
It's kind of terrifying, but hey, fantasies are fantasies, aren't they? And then straight to gay, a thing. God, I can't remember what I was just about to say. Oh well. Point. I just completely lost
Man, with me fucking up on the production, having a shit set of headphones that cut out the audio, which means we have smash cuts, and you just fumbling there. This is a great episode.
Yeah, no, that was it. Like part of this episode was made a lot more difficult because Wikipedia doesn't currently have the Chuck Tingle bibliography, and it's actually. I can't find a chronological bibliography or even really a full bibliography anywhere. Like you can find bits and pieces of it if you go to like Goodreads or Amazon Kindle.
Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, it used to be there, man.
Fuck, it's gone.
So I don't know what's going on there, but it made that whole search for figuring out when Turned Gay stopped featuring. So I may be very wrong. It may appear like a little later than slammed by the substantial amount of press by my book Pounded by the Pound, Turned Gay by the socio-economic implications of Britain leaving the European Union.
Well done, sir.
But it won't be much later. Because it really does just disappear after 2016 for sure.
Yeah, and to be fair, we're just going to say that's fact. So hacks and charlatans. Right. Well, you've applied some science to it. Should we apply some maths to it?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it, baby.
And then Tom accidentally tries to launch Magic the Gathering Arena because the button's right next to it. That was clever. Production this issue, I apologise for. And there goes my sound. Greetings, horny Taran. I'm about to turn you gay.
Oh, I'm
Shit.
looking forward to it, Tingle. If
Shit,
anyone
I'm too-
could, it would be you.
Am I too late? Maybe a bit.
Well, I mean, I'm never going to go all the way gay, and in fact, I was, yeah. But you can get involved. We can still have some fun, darling.
Tingletron likes a challenge. Anyway, here's a challenge. I am Tingletron 4000 book review robot. All scores are final.
Cool.
I think he's on his way to you now.
Oh, good. It'll be nice to have a good machine drilling.
Jeez. Right, so this is where we review the book based on 5 criteria marked out of 5. Looking at the tingles, the cover art, getting to the tingle, it's the pacing, giving you the tingles, the sexiness, saving you some tingles, recommendational value, tingle, tilt, the reviewer's tilt, that gives us a final 4 score out of 10. Right, so let's get started. Look at those cum gutters, baby.
Oh, yeah. Maybe a little too tonk for my
Absolutely.
purposes. But
I prefer the guy in the back, I must admit. Just very nicely toned, not chiseled out of fucking granite.
it's the sunset that really does it for me.
I like
I'll
the
be
fact
honest.
that the diner doesn't just have diner, which I assumed it was going to have on the front. It actually has butt house written on it.
Oh yeah.
I guess
Yeah, no. Turk's got that kind of he's kind of got that Germanic thing going on, hasn't he? That
Yeah, a
real
little bit.
square sort of
a little bit Ickvilly. Sorry, easy joke. Yeah, I can't really fault this one. The only thing is no trucks, but I mean you can't have a truck in front of it because you just obscure those apples, wouldn't you? So
This is very true. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking. I'm thinking somewhere in the 3s for this one.
yeah.
Maybe 3.145. Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think it's more like a 3.345 to be fair. I mean, I think you're being a little harsh.
Fair enough.
That's a 3.245 out of 5.
Cool.
Right.
Reasonably average start.
Yeah. So getting to the tingle, the pacing. I hadn't really considered it, but it's actually pretty good. Now, when we talk about pacing, this is not hot. This is comedically funny pacing.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Very much so.
Where's the dick? It just roots through boxes. Fuck. Blowy, fuck. Blat. Running upstairs with a towel, running into a restaurant, out confused customers, out the front door, round the back, pull down the pants. Fuck. Blat.
Yeah, the question becomes like, do you judge it more on its erotic chops or more on its on its comedic chops? This one,
basically, what I'm saying by that is the fact that pacing, regardless if it's sexy or funny, is still good pacing. So I'm going to say this one's a good 4.22.
Oh,
4.22.
really?
Give it a bit of a Desmond at the end there.
I mean, I kind of yeah, I don't know. I've just felt like the actual scene in the diner just dragged a scooch, just a scooch.
The dude gets sexually confused, gets taken to a table, is still sexually confused to the point of getting hard at reading burgers on a menu. Interrupted by a waitress, makes really, really modelled conversation with the restaurant, and then gets felt up by the restaurant, interrupted by the waitress. Like it's there's like so much stuff.
the bit where the bench he's sitting on just starts massaging his arse cheeks was very funny. I did it did make me giggle. That I don't know. You make a good point, so I'll nudge up a little bit, but I'm still thinking like 3 points, 3.831. I think
those two scores combined, like Captain Planet, I don't know why I said it like that, is 4.0255 out of 5. The right side of 4. I'm happy with that. Right, so then we've got giving you the tingle, the sexiness. Now this is fucking low. The fact that I literally had Pleasure Zone playing for what 4 seconds max before I had to put on Yakety sax.
I mean, yeah, the kind of the lead up to it was a bit better than the actual banging itself. Even if it, I
like the lead up. I like the lead up usually, but yeah, no, you were if you were semi, I was flaccid as fuck to this one. There was no action. Enough. What were you gonna?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like a maybe like a 2.556.
Okay. Yeah, this is just a straight up 1.5 for me.
Oh wow. Okay.
Very low scoring. Right. Next up, we have saving you some tingle. The recommendation value.
Actually, reasonably high on this one. Yeah. I think this is pretty solid. Like if someone's receptive to the idea of reading, like, all right, I Chuck Tingle. That sounds fun. This is kind of up there for recommendation. Yeah. This is pretty solid tingle.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of people, unless if they don't know anything about tingle going into it, they're going to look at the titles and think, oh, okay, I'm here for the funny. And I think this is, I think this is like a solid one for that. So I think 4.292.
Yeah,
from me.
Yeah, I think I was around the 4s, the early 4s as well, because you're right. It is extremely fun. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I actually read it twice, which is quite rare. Because usually I read it the day of the recording or the night before. Yeah. But I gave myself a few days to digest it all. So I think, good for 4.019 out of 5. Okay, that gives us a 4.1555 out of 5. Okay. Have you noticed we haven't really been laughing at the numbers this week? Maybe we need to change this up.
No. It's not that. It's just been a weird day for me. I'm not. Thank fuck I have a script essentially to read, because I cannot be bounced off. I cannot bounce off today. I'm just all over the place.
Yes, given the technical issues and everything like that as well. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just crack on. We're near the end.
Yes.
So, now we have the Tingle tilt, the reviewer's tilt. How much we think it deserves to get a bit of a boost to bring its score up. How much
that's it.
I'm going to go good. Mine's decidedly kind of average with this. Like, I don't want to push it. This is not my favorite Tingle by any stretch. I did have fun reading it. I did read it twice. I
sort of love that you're feeling a little bit about yourself. So I only usually read them once. Again, because I'm not the only one who's a base and loathsome charlatan.
I mean, I write a synopsis. You can do that while reading it.
Yeah, true.
To be fair, my way of enjoying Tingle is reading it, analysing that paragraph and saying, well, how can I break that down into 2 words?
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I think you're right. I think this is somewhere in the averages.
I think I'm going to go for a 2.022 or 32, 32, not 22, 32.
2 point, really?
Remember, this is one that just like boosts it a bit. It's not.
Yeah. I would go. I'd go a little higher. I'd go. What did you? 2.022.
2.032.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think 3.032. No, 3.023
Oh, you
is fair.
have to be a contrarian, don't you? Right. And that gives us a pretty much spot on average score there for 2.5275 out of 5. And that's a good number. And so we have our final overall floor score of 6.3926 out of 10.
Oh no, I missed it. I was trying to get a fanfare. You don't do it after it's announced, you idiot.
But and also you're working with lag, so that was pure like 20 minutes after. Anyway, so let's see where we stand with all that. Custom sort, smallest to largest on the floor score. And we go in. I've lost it. Oh, it's third from the bottom. It's just under Space Raptor Butt Invasion and just above Vampire Night Bus.
They're all kind of chucks. They're all from around the same periods.
Yeah, maybe it's we just like the more. Hang on, let's think about this. I mean, just above this, you've got four tingles at the bottom that are all kind of. They're not satirical. They're just general things like Space Spectrum.
Uh-huh.
The other one that's in this group of 4 is Slammed by My Substantial Amount of Press. And
I
then
still can't believe that's in the bottom.
And then just above it, we have President Donald Trump and Living Corn James Corney, which is both satirical works. So I think we just prefer the satirical stuff.
I think it's kind of more indicative that Chuck is just getting better as he goes on. He's developing as an author.
As we can probably see from the title of this book, pointed out.
That said, where is the blue white dress? Where does that feature? Because that's one of the earliest we've done. I think that's 2014.
Find Yanni and Laurel. Where's the dress? It's really high. It's like fourth.
Oh, that was pretty hot at points, though.
And strangely, slightly above, which is one above, Pounded by the Pound Turned Gay by My Social Economic.
The
other turned gay one.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? It'd be interesting to like sit down and kind of analyze and see kind of how things are lining up. Because it definitely seems to be like the more out there comedic ones are sort of towards the bottom. Because I guess they're sacrificing some sexiness sometimes in those. But I don't know. I'm sure there'll be. The more we do this, the more we'll be able to dig into it and really kind of start playing with the numbers and study them and then see what is the hidden truth behind it all. And
absolutely,
science.
I think this means we actually have a top 20 now as well. I think we're at like 20 books. So,
oh wow.
What's next, then, Taryn? What's going to be our 21st or maybe 22nd? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what's next, Tom. You can, if you didn't buy Turned Gay by the Living Aphrodina, then you'll want to buy this if you want to read along with us next. The next one is My Ass is Haunted by the Gay Unicorn Colonel.
Yes, it is. And that's why I wanted to get you to read it out, because it made me so happy to read that title.
Yeah, I have no idea what this one's going to be. I am excited.
Ghost Colonels up your ass. Perfect. Love it.
But what's it going to mean, Tom? What's it all going to mean?
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to a spooky themed background next week.
Hell yeah.
I might even try and Photoshop
Cool.
it. Go on.
Do you want to do the do the housekeeping?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I thought you were saying something. Right. So we are, as Taryn said, the reprobates from Pot Topic Podcast. You can find our website at pottopicpodcast.com. Go there to find the Chuck Tingle leaderboard. All I've put them by 4-score order because no one gives a shit if they're chronologically or not. So
Yeah.
it makes more sense to look at it. And then you can also listen to our podcast, Pot Topic Podcast, or you can go and view all the I'll get it out in a minute. You can view all the videos for our previous book clubs on the website and on our YouTube playlist. Anything else? Oh, and if you want to email us, emails at pottopicpodcast.com. Let us know what you think.
Cool. So once again, the tingler for next week is My Ass is Haunted by the Gay Unicorn Colonel. If you want to read along with us. But other than that, I guess all that's left to say is whatever your trots, whatever your way, just go forth into this timeline and prove love is real.
Love is real, and thank fuck I can take this hat off. Oh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Missed.